possible. So, flipping hell, Denmark. 63,000 infantry versus 167,000. 10,000 cavalry versus 33,000. And 5,000 artillery versus 11,000. And Denmark couldn't even beat England on its own. Naval power is actually more even than I thought it would be. So Denmark has 10 heavies versus, what should we call these guys? The Russo, Spanish, Anglo, Ottoman, the other guys. So it's Denmark and the other guys. So the other guys do have 9 heavies, so not equality there, but they do have the English heavy bonus. Denmark has maritime, but so does England. Maritime's not really going to help their combat abilities. It just means that they're going to have very good admirals. Light ships, Denmark is thrashing them. Oh, Holland's in the war. Right. So if the Dutch, the Danes, and the French could merge their fleets together in Norway, then that would work. Unfortunately, Norway is AI, so that's a lot less likely. I think this is probably a peace deal being done. You're allowed to pause the game if you're trying to do a peace deal. You're not allowed to pause the game if it's an unconditional surrender peace deal. Or you can pause it for 1 minute and then you have to do it. France should focus on killing Burgundy. France should focus on killing Burgundy. Unfortunately, France keeps being pulled into stupid wars like this one. Like, Denmark's been more trouble for France's worth at this point, I think. Same with Holland. France needs to look for new allies. The Franco-Portuguese alliance, I think, is a good one. I think that is a very good choice because he can use Portugal as a counter to Aragon and Castile. Oh, naval battle. So we have the English versus the Dutch. So this... Oh no, this is just the English transport fleet. So the English aren't going to be able to get off of England, but there is a lot of land over here, including 1 fort, so that's going to be free war score. Denmark's still going to be over here, but England massively outnumbers that Danish army. Here's the Danish fleet, and he has merged them all together, so that is kind of scary. I think England's going to struggle to defeat that. It just depends on whether Denmark keeps their army mobile. France, it looks, has just been defeated by the Castellans. Also, I just saw Aragon was red to someone there. Aragon's in this war. On whose side? Aragon's joined the Muscovite side. Okay. So it is now Castile and Aragon versus France. France! Just... Oh! I want you to do well, but that's not how you do it. Meanwhile, Muscovy going through Norway. I guess they're trying to do as little damage to the Swedes as possible because they want the Swedes to be on their side. They also don't want Sweden to suffer devastation. So what Muscovy should do is tell their minions to just hold off. Just put them on defensive, or put them on passive, or give them targets down here in Skåne and say, go and attack that. Don't attack Sweden. We don't want this damage being done to the Swedes, because you still want the War of Independence to trigger. I think that what the big factor here is not going to be what Denmark loses in terms of land, it's what they lose in terms of military power. If Denmark finds that they are unable to defeat the Swedes in the Independence War, then Sweden could just declare it and be done with it. Is Russia AI or player? Russia is AI. Sorry, player. Mindboy is playing as Muscovy. Meanwhile, how are the rebels looking? One thing I'd kind of like to see is the rebel risk. That's a lot of rebels for the Austrians. Castile is another country that's going to be dealing with rebels. Here's a bunch of the Granadan separatists, Catholic zealots. Castile might not have wanted to do this either. And in fact, Granada is Protestant. The nation isn't, but the provinces are. So this Centre of Reformation has been converting Granada's stuff before them. That's funny. Hot joining player, who's this? Might be England. England said he was going to be late. Yep, Gaming Bob. So we have an England coming into the fray. So let me just go and update my list to say that England is no longer protected. Neither is Calico. So it's just Portugal and Ethiopia who are the protected nations right now. So, depending on the damage that France can do to Castile, I'm wondering what Morocco wants to do about this, because Morocco is still not very happy with Castile. There is definitely a bit of a player rivalry brewing there. Can't do anything while this screen is up. Granada went Protestant from Sunni. The provinces did. Granada itself hasn't converted, which is a little bit surprising considering it's a 2-province minor. Or maybe they can't. No, if all of your provinces belong to another religion, I'm sure you can flip to it. Or else you just need to wait for rebels to spark and then switch you that way. And rebels almost certainly will spark there. Unfortunately, both of these provinces are fortified. Hey, 94th men. Good weekend so far. I was out at the pub last night. Community multiplayer today. Life is good. Castile now has a chance to attack Portugal. Portugal is not being played right now, so Castile couldn't take anything from Portugal. So one of the rules that we have is if you miss a session, your country is protected. So you can be called in defensively, but not offensively. And if you are called in defensively, they can only white peace you. They're not allowed to take anything from that country. So Portugal should get white peaced out as soon as they are able. And this is a rule that protects everyone, so the players are pretty good about enforcing it. Bob's immediately lagging behind. Uh-oh. But now we have an England player, so I think that Denmark's situation just got a whole lot worse. Unfortunately for England, he's just lost most of his navy. So how is the naval balance looking right now? Yeah, they lost most of their heavies. Oh, if you hover over this, you can actually see who contributes what. So all 4 of these heavies are Ottoman. Now, here's a question. The Ottomans aren't participating at all. All of their armies are still back here. Their navy's not doing anything. Yeah, the Ottomans are getting a bit of a reputation for that. They'll join a war and then do nothing. That's not a good reputation to have. Especially not in a player game. Meanwhile, Muscovy is definitely contributing. Although Muscovy is the target of this war, so I'm not entirely surprised by that. Yeah, I totally get what Denmark was trying to do here. I'm not convinced it was the right move. Although this way they do keep Sweden on side. Denmark is being offered a peace deal. Muscovy is trying to take Osterbotten and Västerbotten. Both of those are Swedish. I'm not sure how Sweden will feel about that. Oh, Muscovy's trying to take the whole of Sweden. Yeah, I'm definitely not sure what Sweden will think about that. That's a bit of a backstab. Ooh. Ooh, that's a sneaky way of taking Sweden out. Because Muscovy is one of the people trying to support Sweden's independence. And I guess they're trying to support the independence of Sweden insofar as it's not Russian yet. The Dutch just have units raised. I don't think... Oh no, those are probably mercenaries. Nope, they're just new troops. Have the Dutch just been stack-wiped somewhere? Meanwhile, the French war. France has got some rebels. France did also flip Protestants. They are going to have rebel issues. We have the Castellan army, the Aragonese army down here in the south, the French army up here. Rebels in Paris, you probably want to go and deal with that. I mean, technically this one as well, because it's 4. But that's all manpower. Like, how's France doing for manpower? France is not doing great for manpower. And I just saw the flame of a national crisis, civil war. Hasn't triggered though. Man, France is not looking good. France just keeps on accepting these these calls, and this is one he should not have. He should have seen this one coming and then just backed out and said no. Oh, was that Denmark offering Muscovy Sweden? Okay. That does make more sense. To be fair though, Mordred would be kind of hard for them to get their troops over there. Though if they did, they would take horrible attrition. Not necessarily. The Ottomans could be participating against the Iberians, and it would kind of be in their favour, especially against Aragon, now that Aragon's in the war. The Ottomans could do a lot of damage to the Iberians and protect France, but they're not doing it. And I believe that Aragonese ambitions remain in the Mediterranean. So these two are far more of a threat to the Ottomans than, say, England and Denmark. France is about to lose its army, yeah. France is not having a good time. England, meanwhile, has kicked Denmark out. Denmark using their fleet to rescue their troops. Does Denmark's transport capacity actually allow them to move their whole army? Because that's usually a pretty good move to make. So if we just go to the Danish transports, the Danes only have 8 transports, so no, they can't move the whole lot. But they could have protected the Strait crossing, though. Because I'm pretty sure that the Anglo fleet, the Anglo Alliance fleet, wouldn't have been able to do that. Meanwhile, the Swedish army has been defeated by somebody. Sorry, I'm missing all of the fights here. It's actually surprisingly difficult to track this many battles going on at once. Well, this many wars, this many troop maneuvers. Aren't the Ottomans on the Iberian side? Oh yeah, they are. Oh, we have the French moving into Aquitaine, trying to catch out the Granadan army right now. And they have caught them. The Spanish are on the move, at least Castile is. Aragon isn't. Although Aragon is moving some of their artillery back into position. If they're quick about this, they should be able to beat this. They are fighting this on a -2 though. They don't want to be caught by these. Oh no, and rebels arrived. Oh, back off, France. Back off. You don't want to fight this. Back off. Run. Oh, why are you fighting this? This is not in your odds. This is not in your favour. And these guys are quite wisely just sitting back and watching the French army just disintegrate. 18,000 men short. That's 14,000 manpower they can't replace, and now Castile moving in while they're on low morale. Castile did that very well, except we did just have a month turnover. Consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. Okay, you got away. Or did you? Castile arrives on the 13th. They are just sitting here. This is a river crossing for the Castile. This is a -2 for Castile. Wait, -1. They must have better maneuver. Provence is on their way. France did consolidate. So you can see most of their front line is actually a dark colour. Castile has no artillery. This is a good win for France. And Castile is probably screaming at Aragon right now. Going, where are you? You should be here. This is an excellent engagement for the French. Yeah, that was well played. That was very well played. And you did consolidate at the last minute there. Excellent. So now you may as well just disband all of the infantry and then bring in mercenaries. If you want to fight this. I'm not convinced you should. I think that France should just peace out and say, I've done my bit. But whether Muscovy lets him is another matter. Well, France still has the reputation of being France. Like, if you can get France out of a war, that's one less big enemy that you have to fight against. But France has many other problems. France is going to break as a country. That's my prediction. France will break because of all the rebels. This was a very misjudged, mistimed war. Like, Austria, at least, is staying completely out of this while they convert. France isn't. Like, I appreciate a player who shows loyalty to their allies, but your allies have done nothing but drag you down. You need to abandon them. Meanwhile, England. England has completely pushed... Nope, Denmark's still hiding in the Shetland. Or is that Faroe? No, that's Shetland. That's Faroe. Muscovy is currently sieging down Bahlusen. We have got Swedish troops, well, they're allied, Swedish and Norwegians, in Denmark proper. Norway is being slowly but surely sieged down. Finland's being sieged down. Stockholm has already fallen. Meanwhile, what's Holland doing? Holland is fighting against Oldenburg. Is that the same war? No, Holland peaced out. See, Holland bailed. Holland was in that war. France, you need to do the same. But France is refusing. That's a mistake. Yeah, all of Denmark's allies are just bailing on them. England also did. Oh no, sorry, England's on the other side. Wow, I'm constantly getting this wrong. France is that one friend who lets his friends ruin his life, and it's tragic. Yeah, it kind of is. Like, early on I was like, yes, France, backing up the little guys, trying to bail them out, keeping his allies strong. But now it's not worth it. You need to pick a new crowd. Meanwhile, the Ottoman armies are gone. The Ottomans are at war with Tunis. Now, that's not going to make Morocco very happy. Ottomans are helping out the Portuguese rebels. Okay. I'm not sure if that was an accident or intended. Like, I suspect that Bacon wants to show off his 3-star general, but this is not the best battle to be doing it in. Now, are you moving north? Yeah, you continue to move north. So that was just a accidental battle. Fair enough. That I can accept. And it does look like Ottoman troops are on the way. Not convinced they need them now, but at least the effort is being shown. England, meanwhile, fighting rebels. Has England converted? England is remaining staunchly Catholic. It doesn't look like many or any other countries are going Protestant at this point. Meanwhile, France is just falling to rebels. I should be focusing on Denmark. Like, this is the story of Denmark's demise, but this is also the story of France's demise. Okay, so we have Muscovy versus Sweden. Sweden has a general, Muscovy does not. Not sure that this is a battle they wanted to fight, because Muscovy is supposed to be bailing them out, but okay. Muscovy actually has the more morale, and also the more discipline. Why is that? Spirit de corps. That's a no-offense idea, I think. Yep. And Castile's going, hello, Ottomans, to the entire world, so everyone now knows that the Ottomans are on their way. France is hurriedly training mercenaries now. They're just going into debt over this, though. That's not going to be a cheap amount of debt either. 4 loans only so far, but that is 800 ducats in 1500. Has colonialism spawned? Yes, Asturias. So Portugal got it. So Portugal is going to be the colonist. Now, Portugal and Castile, are you rivals? Portugal's rivals are Morocco and England. So no, these two are no longer rivals. Actually, I'm not sure they were ever rivals. They were definitely not friendly, but I don't think they were rivals. Are you friendly with Castile? You're friendly with Aragon and France. You are not friendly with Castile. And in fact, what you might want to do at this point is insult Castile. Castile's trying to raise relations with you, but you are not really raising them with them. Oh, Portugal's not a player right now. Damn it. So French rapidly trying to raise troops. Just peace out, France. Like, this is not worth fighting. Just get out. France consists of half of the armies fighting against them. Morocco are in a war. Morocco are fighting against Tunis and Mazab. So I thought it was the Ottomans going after Tunis, but they were actually just moving through. Morocco is trying to clear up the territories down here, trying to grab them probably before the Mamluks, or worse, the Ottomans get them. Although, Morocco and Ottomans, how friendly are you? That's one I'm not sure about. Allied to the Ottomans. So you're probably not that worried about the Ottomans getting Tunis. Meanwhile, over here, Muscovy just piling in with the extra troops. Here comes Crimea. Sweden is just sitting in moist Berlin, also known as Copenhagen. And the French rebels just continued to multiply. Aragon sieging down the rebel fort, that's very nice of them, in Avignon. But otherwise, yeah, this is not looking good. Castile is now on low, but this doesn't matter. These aren't AI. Low war enthusiasm is irrelevant for players. Also, both Castile and Aragon are distracted right now. Let's have a look at this. So Calico is out of manpower. But, oh no, has taken loans. 2 loans. That's not terrible. Aragon still has a tiny bit of manpower, but Not a lot. No financial difficulties, though. Aragon's economy is actually healthy. Meanwhile, Morocco sitting here sweet on 20,000 manpower. And they're allied with the Ottomans. Well, actually the Ottomans are allied in a war with Castile and Aragon right now, so they would not be able to answer a call. But if we see a Morocco invasion of Castile backed by the Ottomans, that would certainly be a thing. Is this a recording of the Community Clash? No, this is live. I've got to say, this alliance isn't working the way I'd hoped, Muscovy. Oh, Calico's saying he's got a good king. Because Calico's kings have been awful. Like, really bad. Why can't I click on your king? A 6-3-1. Because I think his previous one was like a 0-0-2 or something like that. So that was what, a 9 pip? I think that was a 9 pip. 10. 10's good. 9's like the minimum I would usually say is for a good king. 10's fine. So Aragon and Castile are moving in against the French. The French can still escape up. Oh, yeah, through there. I was going to say Labourd might be blocking, but I don't think it can block foreign territory. Even if it's occupied by somebody else. And Val just not fighting here. I think Val's still just hiding in the Faroe Islands throughout this entire engagement. So again, Val throwing other people under the bus for their wars. Throwing Sweden under the bus here. Although, I can kind of understand why. I can definitely understand why. Hey, Fishy. It would be a good plan for Burgundy and Savoy to attack France right now. It's been Savoy's... Savoy could do it for a while. Sorry, not Savoy. Burgundy could have attacked France several times, and they haven't yet. Bacon. Oh, Bacon lost connection. I wonder if that's why the Ottomans started to move in. I'll need to watch this now. Hey, Feto. Alright, I'll click on the Ottomans and just see what their armies do. They're still helping out in Iberia. And suffering a bunch of attrition for their troubles. So what are the French doing? The French are continuing to move around, but the forts here have fallen already. I'm not sure that that is going to be very good. Alright, yeah, that's Mine Boy. I was like, what name is that? Yes, I remember, it's Mine Boy. Oh, nope, France backed off again. France needs to deal with this. Like, losing your capital to rebels is not good. And those rebels are getting close to converting France back to Catholicism. And the reason France is on so low prestige is because they converted to Protestantism. So let's take a quick look at this, see if anyone else has switched. So Brandenburg, again, staying well out of this war, has pretty much finished converting. Austria is halfway, well on the way. France hasn't converted a single thing. France isn't even using their missionary. I guess they don't have the money for it, so I can kind of see, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a reason he's not converting. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sweden and Muscovy having an interesting discussion, yeah. Sweden's accusing Muscovy of sieging them down in this war rather than doing damage to France, to the Danes. Oh! Oh no, that's you going for Faroe Islands, okay. I thought you were trying to attack the 22k stack of Danes there, but you haven't. And fewer saying let France peace out. Fewer of Brandenburg. France is trying to retake some of these territories. France is doing war taxes. Brandenburg coming to France's aid. That doesn't seem right somehow. Well, at this point, I think everyone's kind of looking at France going, oh, With the exception of Al, probably. He's going, yes, die for me, my minions. Nobody's gone reformed. I don't think that reformed is triggered yet. And like I said, I would not be surprised to see Holland go reformed, and possibly England, although England would be better off going Anglican, because Anglican's actually pretty strong. I like it. A lot of people don't, but I do. But Holland probably should go reformed. Got the Aragon fleet surrounding them. Yeah, once Aragon joined this, there was basically game over in terms of naval power. No. They're on the other side. Aragon's fleet could have balanced the naval superiority. If the Ottomans and Aragon fought together, that's 40 galleys. You would struggle, but only if they had all of their heavies in one spot. And that could have brought England more into this fight, but England seems to be doing okay. In fact, England's probably quite happy for this excuse to not get more involved, because England, unlike France, is not having to bleed itself dry. They're losing a bit of money. They do have loans, but I suspect that that was probably left from when Denmark dogpiled them. So England is likely enjoying the fact that Denmark is dying right now, and is likely hoping to get some of these territories back again. In fact, England's even been supporting separatists. Meanwhile, Muscovy being suspiciously reluctant to go into Denmark. Very suspiciously reluctant to go into Denmark. So they've done the damage to Sweden, but nobody else. Sweden's army is hiding in Copenhagen right now, and the Danes are holding that crossing. Oh, no, here comes Muscovy. Okay, they've realised. And the Danes about to take another loan. How many loans are they in? That's just truces. Loans, here we are. 1. Denmark's actually managed their economy surprisingly well. France fighting against the Ottomans and being soundly thrashed. The Ottomans having 4.3 morale. And this is against France. Although I don't think that France has Elan yet. No, they don't. So this is not France in its final form. This is early France. Oh, we have the Swedes against the English over here. Huzzah! Swedish transport fleet. They're not going to be able to do very much. Who dat? Ah, my notifications. Requin! Can't stay, kids. Just popped in to say hello and congrats on the partner. Thank you very much, Requin. I appreciate that. And also, Grim Geezer. Thank you very much for the bits 30 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Because this is multiplayer, I have different windows up, so I can't necessarily see my notifications as easily. But thank you very much for those bits, and I'm sorry I missed them earlier. Appreciate that. And for the resub, of course. 1 month. 1 month, Requin. And then we've got the Golden Horns. This is going to be a dead France soon. Yeah, France needs to seriously consider their diplomatic relations after this war. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times? Because that's now 3 times that France has been thrown under their bus. Twice by Denmark. Once by Holland. Well, both Holland and Denmark threw him under the bus with coalitions, and now Denmark's doing it again. Although I have to say, I wonder how much of this is France refusing to peace out. Because as I said earlier, you still have the reputation of being France. People would rather you were not in the war than in it. Although Castile might have vetoed any agreement, or maybe even Aragon, because they almost certainly want territory here. In fact, Castile may well have wanted a white peace France, because Aragon is the one who is more likely to benefit, especially if we consider the territories that Aragon are occupying right now. All Genoa knows, huzzah! Including Avignon, which is a centre of trade, and Provence, which is a river estuary. That's a lot of trade power right there. Frogger Pirate, thank you very much for the 6-month resub. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sure France would have offered peace. I'm not